Okay, peace everybody. This is Abdullah Powell here, and we are spotlighting my man Stallitix today on this Artist Spotlight interview. What's up, brother?
How you doing? I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing all right, man. Good to see you in person, man. This is our first time being, I think, in person for a minute.
Yeah. What? 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
4 weeks now.
Yeah. It seems like doesn't feel like it, being here today, but I think it's been like a month.
Been a long time. Well, I'm tired of being home.
And we got my man Noah Hawes on the technical support running the mixer.
We're really just gonna milk it, aren't we? Just really gonna milk it. Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Don't be a milk drinker, right? I don't even know what that means. I just know it's like disrespectful. Don't be a milk drinker. What?
Don't be a milk drinker. Okay. Yeah. So we are interviewing Stallitix. Why? Because he's got a new album. It's called BoutDamnTime, right?
That's right.
And it's a beat tape.
Yeah, a little beat tape. About damn time. It's I've been very hard on myself as a creative for the last 2 years. Prior to that, on my own solo beats, I just had late night tapes, and I just been really want to put out something that I can be feel good about, and people can feel good about it, and and it wasn't really I would say it's not really a finished project, but it's a finished project in the sense that I put it out, that I took the courage. It's like, all right, I don't care how I do care how it sounds, and this sounds good already. A lot of people say they enjoy it, so I'm just gonna put it out and give myself courage to put it out, and not be hard on myself, and be in my own thought, and relay and keep on holding back. So this was more like a just like a courage piece to create something and put it out, and continue and give me courage, and build up the habit of to work and put stuff out.
Word up, man. I want to talk about the album for sure, but maybe before I have other questions related to that, what you just mentioned. Maybe talk about your just artistic journey, to becoming the finger drummer that you are, and the event curator that you are. Talk about your kind of how you see your journey leading up to this point.
Right. It's very interesting. When I was young, I was just a straight artist. I used to get dance. I used to do poetry. Got in the theater. Music kind of came late. I didn't, start doing music till 21, 22. When my friend gave me my first drum machine, I started playing around with it and sampling stuff. And I'm 27 now. And when I first moved to Cincinnati, it was around the same time I started doing music. Started playing finger drums and stuff like that. And I felt like, I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose that skill, because I got excited from learning how to do this, and so I came to Elements, and I just wanted to get involved, and I met some people, and got involved here, and then I went into community, hung out with Joke. He showed me around too, met some other creators in the city, and everyone was doing their own thing. I wasn't aware of what was really going on. I was like, okay, there's some cool people. But I think also creating with people and meeting people, I realized there wasn't really an open mic. And my good friend Vinny, Good Word from B-Pause, me and him, I started hanging around him, and we did some shows, open and put together shows for Tash and Master Ace. Even though that it's funny, we didn't have any people, but no one came out, and that's because we didn't know anybody. But it was cool to get the experience of hanging out with B-Paul, hanging out with Katuk and Kyle from Sons of Silverton, and meet Noah from Animal Crackers. They're the OGs, and my big brothers, they teach me, taught me a lot of things. But putting on shows and then knowing how to put shows on, I'm like, oh, okay, I can probably do this. And then it wasn't, like I said, there wasn't no open mic. So Vinny had a grad. He was like, yo, we should start open mic on a Monday. I was like, all right. So we reached out to the Mockbee and, got to know what I mean, be the DJ for the night, and we did something, brought people together, to, perform and stuff like that. And it was a good night. We did that for 2 years. And that's something. And then I don't know, then I met, Jay Hill and Christoph, and we formed Powers of the Chaos, my hip hop group. And I just, I wanted to be more performance, but I realized, open mic, it was cool, but like you have people who really want to, to be artists, and create, want to be, or harnessing their craft. And you have, people who, no offense to them, they just did that because, it's open mic, I can do whatever I want. It's like, all right, well, the first part, that's cool. I love people like that. The first part, that got tiring because and it's like, dang.
We got some neighbors having a loud conversation.
Yeah.
Excuse the background noise.
But so I got kind of tired of that because like some of the artists that weren't as seasoned didn't want to. I feel like they didn't want to better themselves, artists, and they didn't know their brand. They didn't know what they wanted. They just ultimately saw what's popping and just like, I'm gonna do that too, and they act like you tell them to act to do a certain thing, and you're like, nah, we're gonna do it this way, and demanding me to let them do a whole album on stage as an open mic. Like, you're not performing a whole album. You're gonna do 2 or 3 songs. And I just got tired of it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to work on my music with POC, and I'm going to do my own shows. And do what shows people I respect and I love. And after that, we started a series called No Cool Kids Allowed. No Cool Kids Allowed was for us to just show Cincinnati that there's amazing artists in the underground that don't get enough love, but also base it around like music people love and music people don't know. Like pushing an envelope of bringing music, like playing like James Brown, but also in that same breath playing like Flying Lotus and music that doesn't get played in like bars and stuff, but maybe on a lot of people's playlists. Like a lot of DJs, they love playing top 40 and like Ja Rule, nothing against Ja Rule or like what's popping, but like we wanted to create like a more audiophile demographic where people like, oh, you playing some, he playing Stallitix, like, yeah, and then DJ Red Groove goes into like a hip hop artist that like sample that same song the Stallitix are playing, and I know, just create that, just create that culture of like, okay, we really do this. If you really love music, here's your time to come and show out. And if you want to dance, don't be afraid to dance, please. Like, it's a very welcome space. I love it because like I feel like sometimes you get into spaces, there's sometimes like a hierarchy of people who are just looking at you like, why you dancing for, or you care too much about how you look, or care too much about what is going on in the place. But I want to create a space where it's intimate. You have artists, you get to know artists, and then you get to dance and you get to feel good and hang out with your friends and talk whatever you want to talk about.
So you talked about kind of really just getting into producing and finger drumming since you moved to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do, production, and why did you decide to get into that? What kind of inspired that?
I don't know. It just happened. My best friend, he had, like I said, the drum machine, was a DJ back in Sacramento, and he just gave me the Native Instruments machine, and I just happened to have a knack for it, and I practice on it every day, and just like, all right, I like this. I like how this feels.
So when he gave it to you, was it because you were like thinking about getting into it, or he just like, yo,
Oh well, I mean,
anymore?
it was just like he wasn't playing around with it a lot. He's like, yo, you can borrow this. Like, yo, play around with it. I was like, all right, cool. And you know, over time, I got real good. I would say better than him at it. You know, he was more of a DJ, but I was actually fingering, dubbing, chopping stuff. He's like, oh, you can take it. I was like, all right, cool. And so it kind of was like things like, all right, I like these, I like the knobs, and so I started just buying drum machines and playing around with them, and I saw producers, you know, doing live stuff like, oh damn, I want to do that, that's tight, you know, it's really cold. Hope I can get, you know, practice and get there one day and work on it.
What motivates you? And I guess you're kind of talking about that a little bit, but is there a certain motivation for your music? You know, like, is there something that kind of drives you to do it?
For me, I just want to be happy. I think, you know, I have another group, Kin Folklore. It's me and my cousin. I think, you know, each different sound, I want to, you know, create something that's different, that hasn't been, you know, heard before, but like still feels warm. Like I'm very inspired by like Jay Dilla and like Madlib, but I know I can't be Jay Dilla or Madlib. Like I just want to like add something different, you know, another conversation to hip hop, add another topic, another, you know, build on what's been done. Then I think that's, you know, I think motivation, like it's right now I'm trying to figure out, why do I do this? Like when you first do something, you see someone that inspires you doing like, oh, I want to do like that dude. Like you see Kanye doing something like, oh, I want to sample like him, or you see Michael Jordan dunking, it's like, oh, I want to play basketball. But in that, you know, and you go through a phase of you try to imitate or emulate what they do. Mm-hmm. And if you try to emulate too far, it's kind of chaos. And it's hard. You can't do it. You're going to be very hard on yourself. You're going to stress yourself out. So with that, you take what you learn from them, you admire from them, put it into your own style, and you find your own voice. Right now, I'm right in my space where I'm trying to find my own voice. You know, and that's one thing I think that's really I've been hindering myself. That's hurt me from doing a lot of stuff, because I've been trying to find my voice and trying to not be different, and to make music people like, but make beats also that I like, and that's hard. Our own worst enemies are ourselves. And I think that right now, I can probably answer yours. That probably be my motivation, is just to make music, good enough music that I enjoy, you know, so I can be like, all right, I like my music. Now I can share this. Now I feel like I can share this. And I think that's important.
What's your creative process like, man? How do you do what you do?
And man, it changes, man. Like, seems like I'm learning something every 3 weeks or so, 3 months or so. Normally I just go through like YouTube or Spotify, or, you know, if I, you know, look at the records, go through like a sample and find something I start chopping up. Sometimes I just start with drums. I just start making drums, and I find like a sample that, you know, happens to match with it. I freak it, you know, cut and splice it. Right now I'm starting to really like get better at playing it out, like creating, you know, my pad, my template, and just playing out and tracking everything out to Ableton. Well, right now, I'll take that back. I track everything out to like my SP44, which I use for effects, and I'm tracking it out to Ableton now to make it more, I don't know, just more. I feel like hip hop more fluid, because I don't think I'm really. I won't say I'm not good. Like, I have a hard time arranging unless I play it. I can't be like, I can't do FL Studios, like just put stuff in and try to arrange it by parts. I can't do that.
You meaning you arrange live. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like I play it live.
Versus like okay, I'm gonna arrange the intro and then the verse and the chorus. It's separate parts, but you like to just perform.
Yeah, even if I'm not fingers, I can trigger it. Trigger stuff.
Trigger it, yeah.
So I'm just doing that and just still trying to figure out what's like the best workflow for me. Like, I enjoy something for like a month and I'm like, all right, I'm getting tired of this and then try to switch it up. And I realized, man, there's no rules to this music stuff, man. It's like you can do whatever you want, as long as you feel like you sound good, As long as you feel like you sound good, you enjoy your music, there's no rules to this, I think a lot of, old heads like, you gotta sound like this, you get like, or, people in the, big music industry, so you have to be, next big selling, you gotta have this sound, this is what the sound everyone's going for. It's like, nah, not really, just, do what you love. There's a sound for everyone. That's why I think like right now with hip hop, it's just like I said, it's like jazz. It's like jazz now has like just something for somebody. Like you have people who enjoy swing, there's people who love bebop, there's people who love like modern jazz, there's people who love like the avant-garde, Thelonious Monk, people who just enjoy piano jazz. You have people who enjoy boom bap. You have people who enjoy trap. And people who enjoy lo-fi hip hop. People who enjoy like experimental hip hop. Open Mike Eagle and those guys. Dudes who love lyricism. People who don't just like party rap. So it's just there's like a little envelope. There's a little bit something for everybody.
Yeah, that definitely seems true. I mean, OJ said, as long as it's grooving, man.
Right.
I love music as long as it's grooving.
Right. Bro, that's getting the heck out of me. Yeah.
That was like the first sound effect I've heard for like the last 10 minutes. It was like, that was surprising. That was cool that you were talking about workflow and your process. I mean, I think that might go over some people's heads that aren't producers. Mm-hmm. But if you're a producer, or if you have some experience in making music with, music technology, especially, samplers or beat machines, or software, you should understand what the brother's saying,
right,
about, like many people are used to composing and arranging, and it's done in pieces and parts, and but they're not necessarily triggering anything. Like for myself, I don't normally trigger things that I'm doing for what you hear, but like what you do, and you can kind of hear it's got that kind of sound when you listen to your music. You know what I'm saying? Like that it's got that kind of that live feel. Maybe let's play a track, man. Let's play a joint from the album. What you suggest?
I think the Vanguard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to America's premier, the world's premier jazz club, the Village Vanguard.
right, so that was Vanguard by Stallitix from this album About Damn Time. So that's another jazzy, track from your album. I thought you might just elaborate on where your love for jazz comes from.
Yeah, it's when you're younger, you have different tastes in music. So I didn't think I don't think I didn't get into jazz until like probably junior year of high school. It was on accident. I was just exploring iTunes, and I came across Miles Davis, Kind of Blue, and the first track, So What, like the progression of it, and just like, oh, this is amazing. Then I learned about John Coltrane. I started exploring his music, and then from different learning from different things, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna check out Dizzy Gillespie. I'm gonna check out Thelonious Monk. Then you hear about people new. Over time, you just hear about newer artists like Christian Scott Tunde, cats in UK like Nubia Garcia, just different artists, and I just like, I really liked it. And then I watched like the PBS jazz documentary, and I think that really sold it for me. Just like what a lot of people went through, a lot of risks people took to make this music. A lot of tragedy, a lot of sorrow, a lot of joy, a lot of passion, a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstanding. And I just, I got pulled into it. And then when I started making my own music, I was like, all right, I really like smooth stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna try jazz. And a lot of my favorite producers were doing a lot of jazz stuff. So I was like, I want to, do stuff like them. So I started, appreciating jazz more, going down like rabbit holes of music, that probably people haven't, seen in a while. So, I think as a sampler, you are like, as the person that you sample a lot, you automatically become like an audiophile. Like you automatically just go down like, crate to crate, you just going through, the record store, going to everybody's, or like Shaking Records, and just going, okay, looking on the back of like records, like, okay, this person on there, that's gonna be bomb, and you remember someone from another record, and you go check out their solo stuff. It's like, okay, their solo stuff is cool. I'm gonna add that to one of my favorites, a go-to sample person. And that, I think that's the beauty of music. You don't know what you're gonna run into. And I think with jazz, there's so many, jazz artists. I can never get enough of it.
We've got to get you on an art of sampling, tutorial or something, man. We got to get a series from you, because right. I'm sure, because that's partly what I was trying to do with that series is try to help folks appreciate music through the process. I feel like sampling for me was a way into a portal into the world of those musicians that you're listening to. You know what I mean? So right. I think that each person that samples does things in a different way, and like I grew up on a lot of funk music. My father playing with Rick James and stuff. So I mean, I have all this funk influence. But like you sampling jazz, that would be really interesting to watch. Hopefully we can get you in on a series.
Right.
I wanted you to talk about self-criticism. You've talked about that a little bit here today, but you've been real public about like being hard on yourself and self-criticism and how like this album for you, even just the name of it, About Damn Time, is like it's a personal statement.
Right.
Maybe talk about that and the name of the album and yeah, I know you've talked about it a little bit here, but I figured that it's an ongoing theme for you that you're working through. So
yeah, I'm still dealing with self-criticism. I mean, I don't think it's ever gonna leave me. Just getting better at to realize it and to breathe. I think self-criticism is also, it comes from what you want, and it comes from you not taking time to appreciate what you've done. I think you can get caught up into what everyone else is doing. Get caught up like, oh, they're doing great, I want to do that too. Because, you know, maybe, you know, a lot of people are, you know, going or backing them, or, you know, they look so fearless doing it. C, like, it's just like, oh man, they sound so good, I wish I can do that. And that's, you know, it's cool to have admiration, but don't get caught up into what everyone else is doing. Appreciate what they're doing, give love, of course, but don't think that your art is not valid, or we're not worth anything compared to anyone else. It's quite equal. Everyone has a different reflection of their life, and you know, that's the way I think art imitates life. You know, that's the adage. So it's like, you can never create anything someone else does, because, you know, that's them and you are you. So, you know, I used to be hard on myself because, you know, one of my best friends is one of my favorite producers, Devin Burgess. Man, you know, he's very prolific. He can make beats easy because he has trained himself to do that. That's something he can do. He can make like 3 or 4 beats in like 5 hours, probably less than that. And sure, I live with him, so I hear in the wall. I'm like, how does he do it? But you know, that's how, you know, that's something he's good at. I can't beat him. Only thing I can do is appreciate and, you know, be inspired by. Also, man, just like learning that there's people who, you know, who are on your side. There's people who actually are waiting for you, who want to see more stuff of you, who want to, you know, have something because they, you know, they love your art, they love you as a person. They understand who you are. They feel good when you hear their music, or they feel good to have your art in their house. They feel good to, you know, read something you wrote. You know, you bring something that sometimes helps save people's lives. Excuse me. You know, I do a lot of art for me. With that though, I had to realize there's some art I do that ultimately helps people out. You know, a lot of my friends really enjoy this project. A lot of people I don't know really enjoy this project, and you know, and I think that was a blessing in itself. But yeah, self-criticism is like it's good to be better if you want to become better, but don't be hard on yourself. If you're hard on yourself, you're not going to appreciate anything you do. And you're going to keep on having like quality work, but since it doesn't sound like the next man, then you're just going to be like, oh, this is not good. You know, you ask Jay Hill, you ask my cousin, they come to my house, I showed them beats. They're like, give me that beat. I'm like, nah, it's not finished, it's trash. He's like, bro, just give me the damn beat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, be open. I think be open to, you know, what is going around you. You may want something to sound like this, but it sounds totally different, but it still sounds good. What's that for? Okay. I'm getting real deep, and you. All right, now.
Shout out to Noah Halls on the Rode Podcaster Mixer.
I get it.
I think I forgot what our last subject is from those sound effects. So self-criticism, that's what we were talking about. And yeah, man, I think that it's pretty common for most artists to have that self-criticism. I think I was just talking to Freedom Nicole Moore about something that led her to say something about, you know, just comparing herself to other artists, and eventually finding her way to feeling good about what she was doing. You know what I mean? I think that's a pretty common topic, and I'm proud of your project, man. Proud of you, man. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy the project, and you know what I'm saying? I just want to congratulate you, and I looking forward to your next whatever else you're gonna put out in the future, man. I'd love to hear. I love a lot of the tracks. That last joint. What's the last joint called?
Oh, Bonafide.
Bonafide. Can we play Bonafide?
Live to write, write to love, love to learn. This is the last day of your life. What are you gonna leave behind? What will be your legacy? And they stare at me like a rabbit in their headlights and say, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. Hip hop. For giving up on them. Tell them your life may not be worth shit now, but tomorrow gives you hope, so you want to take your life today or the next day.
All right, so that was the concluding song on Bout Damn Time called Bonafide from Stallitix. I feel like we could just kind of conclude our conversation. What's kind of any final comments on the project or any final words?
Yeah, it's about damn time. I don't know. I think I just did my best to pour what I wanted and pour what inspired me. Like, I have poets. Like, the first poet on Perennials is Anis Majgani, and I sampled him. Actually, I did a flip of him of one of his other poems, and he actually liked it, which is dope. Then the last Bonafide is actually the artist's name is Bonafide Rojas. Amazing poet. I used to do slam, so like I tried my best to share what I learned over the years and show me in this project. So yeah, that's really what I'd like to say.
Yeah, no, thank you for commenting on. I was actually wondering who was the poet in the beginning, or I didn't know if it was a poet, or I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah. Anis Majgani has a poem called Here I Am. It's called Here I Am. It talks about just life as like we have these dreams to be something big, and sometimes it doesn't happen. And he has a line that says, we want to become what we became high school, became bartenders, people working temp positions, just people who, you know, working industry jobs, but that's not who we wanted to be. And, you know, we still, in society, we have this idea that just because you work those jobs, you didn't get your dream job, that you're not something. And so we tell ourselves that I just want to be something. I just want to be something. And he says, you are something. You know what I'm saying? And it's good just because, you know, you're not who you are, right? Who you wanted to be when you were a kid doesn't mean you're nothing. That you are something. It's like something. And he said there's this line, in the line he says, I want to be something. And he's like, some cats say something's better than nothing. So it's the whole idea, like, okay, I'm living my life. You know, I still have a good life, even though I'm not an actor. I still have an amazing life if I want to be a violinist for the symphony. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really good poem, especially when you know, sometimes when you get hard on yourself, you get lost in, you know, what you think you should be doing. Just for, you know, take a breath. And I always put that poem on. The Bonafide one, Bonafide Rojas, he's talking to kids. You know, he was a teacher teaching poetry in Bronx. That's where he's from. And like kids in the Bronx, he's mostly, I'm guessing by the way he was described poets, you know, kids in lower income, kids of color, people of color. And he draws these, you know, very vivid images of the kids he's working with. In one line he says, like, talks about like telling a kid, like, yeah, you gotta, you know, intern, you gotta be something, you gotta whatever you want, you can put on a page. And the kid answers like, how do I could get there? I got a gang after me. Someone's trying to shoot me. You know, I'm, you know, having beef with my mom, you know. And he answers back to him, like, how bad do you want it? Whatever, you know, only thing when it came to life, only thing I had was a notebook and a pen. You know, he talks about he got fired on a job because he kept on writing on a job. And he, you know, it goes down the piece of just like, write whatever you want out. Just write it out. And, you know, he said, write what's up on the page. He goes very vague and first he starts very vague and says, like, if you want to be a rock and roll artist, you want to be a rapper, you want to be an MC, you know. And then it goes more vivid. He's like, if you want to, write down your friend that ever stabbed you in your back. You know, right down the time you just didn't want to do, you know, be part of Prozac. You didn't, you know, and then the line it says, like, you know, write down, you know, tell them who you are. Tell them, you know, the wrongful labor. Tell them, you know, get this meth that they're giving up on you. Tell them to F you, you know what I'm saying? F them, you know. And my favorite line from the piece is like, tell them that, you know, my life may not be anything now, but tomorrow gives me hope, so I won't take my life today or the next day. Mm-hmm. You know, tell them that you'll be here forever. And then in the ending, like going to the ending of the poem, he talks about a kid who says his poem was, I want to live, I want to love. And he says it over and over again. And then after that, the kid's like, is that a good poem? And Bonafide wrote, that's the best poem I ever heard. Because he wrote it from the heart. You know? So it's just like, was inspired by those things. Like, by those poems. Wow.
It's beautiful stuff, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad you share reflections on that. You know, I think those are what you found to start and end your album. Mm-hmm. Really ties the whole thing together very well, and it speaks well in terms of the way you just described your own personal self-criticism and you're working through that, and then it feels like you're also trying to lend support for others going through that by kind of starting and ending it with that. I feel like that's what I got from it. Like, it's like, man, you shared something with us, so I hadn't heard that before. Anything else working on? Anything coming up soon, or?
Oh yeah, so POC, Kim Folklore, Devin Burgess, Roberto, Grandes, who am I thinking? JB Lamage. We all came together and made a group called Nervous System, like a collective. And we are dropping a little single tomorrow, at midnight. So it's gonna be good. I'm the producer on the first beat, so.
That's pretty exclusive.
Yeah.
That sound like a.
No.
That sound like a Wu-Tang type thing. That sound like a conglomerate. Like,
yeah, we're trying to.
It's a bunch of names you just mentioned.
Oh yeah, Ronin. I need to say Ronin. Jesus Christ. Woo, Ronin. That man is real good. Dang, Smokeface. Dang, I'm missing people. Smokeface. He's on there. He's producing some stuff too. But yeah, man, we're just, I don't know. I think that's the crew who really enjoy each other and really hang out and do stuff together. So I think it was only right. There's been talks of doing it for a long time. And we're just trying to get out Cincinnati. Do some stuff out Cincinnati. So yeah.
Where can people find all? Of course,
it should be Nervous System. The Nervous System is going to be on every single platform tomorrow. So yes, woo, yeah. There we go. No. So it's going to be on every platform. Yeah.
And your own personal work.
You find me on Bandcamp at Stallitix. Stallitix. Yeah. I'm also on SoundCloud too. Same name. You can find me on Instagram at the Red Beanie Bandit. One word, the Red Beanie Bandit. And it makes no sense because I'm not even wearing a beanie today. I'm wearing a bucket hat, but.
Oh, we caught you on the wrong day. Interviewed you on the wrong day.
It's all right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you for what you do, man. It's nice knowing you. Glad you walked into the center some years ago. It's been like 2015, 2000.
Yeah, 2016.
Okay, 2016. Yeah.
4 years.
You and the NKU crew, remember when y'all came through? And it's crazy. Everybody, yourself, Noah, seeing the years kind of go on and see this all just continue to just grow.
Right.
But definitely big respect to you, bro.
Thank you.
And, y'all on the other end of this podcast or this video, make sure you listen to the album and share it, and enjoy it. All right. Peace. See y'all next time.